Hello, let me tell you about mining in Sibuyan Island, starting with a short background about this biodiverse area in Romblon. I will also delve on the continuous struggle of the locals and go over on what the mining company has to say. Early this year, news outlets reported mining activities in Sibuyan. These were met by a strong opposition from the residents. Videos showed locals forming a barricade to prevent trucks from Altai Philippines Mining Corporation. But what is it about Sibuyan and why is there a need to protect and conserve it? Sibuyan is an island under the jurisdiction of Romblon. It has an estimated area of 466 square kilometers and consists of three municipalities, Kahidrokan, Magdiwang, and San Fernando. Sibuyan Island is wealthy in terms of flora and fauna. It is dubbed as the Galapagos of Asia. There are four protected areas around the island: Mount Giting-Giting Natural Park, Mangrove Swamp Forest Reserve, ancestral domains of the Sibuyan Mangyan Tagabukid, and a marine protected area. Despite its protected status, there are still risks around the island. Sibuyan faces threats from charcoal making, timber harvesting, and above all, mining. Large-scale mining firms encroach Mount Giting-Giting. 43% of Sibuyan is under different mining claims, some in protected areas and in ancestral domains. Locals have been fighting for decades to stop mining exploration. A significant player against mining is the local government, which for many years have opposed these projects. Because as early as 1972, the government awarded a lease contract to Strabadeco to conduct mining exploration in Sibuyan. The lease contract was transferred to APMC. APMC applied for an MPSA. And in 2007, the late Environment Secretary Angelo Reyes approved cutting permits for mining, affecting around 70,000 trees. Protesters questioned the midnight approval as this would cause deforestation in the buffer zone of Mount Kiting-Kiting. In 2009, former Environment Secretary Lito Atienza grants APMC an MPSA to conduct mining in San Fernando. This was opposed in 2011 when the then-town mayor filed a complaint citing mining operations severely endanger the rivers and streams of Sibuyan. In the same month, MGB issued a cease and desist order to APMC. However, within the month, the order was lifted. In response, San Fernando calls on the government to declare Sibuyan free from mining and revoke all mining permits and applications. The appeal falls into deaf ears as on July 2022, the MGB renews APMC's exploration permit. It was estimated at least 25 years for project completion. 2 days after the permit renewal, anti-mining advocates protested outside the DANR office in Quezon City. On the ground, the three towns of Sibuyan requested the government to declare the island mining free, but this was answered by the issuance of a mineral ore export permit by the DENR on late 2022. This permit allows APMC to bulk test 50,000 metric tons of ore. Hence, in January of this year, anti-mining groups and residents form a human barricade to stop mining trucks. Media outlets released a video on February 3 wherein these trucks successfully passed through as police dispersed the barricade. Two were injured following the dispersal. This was met by a strong public outcry to stop APMC operations, resulting in DANR issuing a cease and desist order on February 6. In notices served, APMC was found operating a causeway project without an environmental compliance certificate and cutting down trees without a permit, which is against the forestry code. On the same day, APMC stopped their operations. They decided to halt activities and continue cooperating with authorities to address issues. On February 10, APMC said that they had the permit to extract and transport samples of nickel ore, claiming that they have a valid MPSA. Thus, they are authorized by the DENR. However, violations cited by residents allegedly include failing to show a barangay clearance, municipal business permit, DANR foreshore lease contract, and permit from Philippine Ports Authority to construct a private port. CHR also mentioned that local anti-mining advocates were harassed and intimidated by APMC. In an earlier statement, APMC asserted that the company is opposed to all forms of illegal, reckless, and irresponsible mining, stating, "Our right to operate is as inviolable as the right to peaceful protest and assembly." We repeatedly reached out to the protesters to establish dialogue and find common ground. We hope that we could assure them that our activities are lawful and compliant to government requirements and fully aligned with global best practices. Admittedly, both APMC and the anti-mining groups have strong points. It boils down to conflicting laws. In the case of Sibuyan, the Philippine Mining Act contradicts provisions of the Forestry Code, NEPA's Act, and the IPRA, among others. There is a need to review and possibly amend existing laws to avoid inconsistencies in implementation. Further, given the emphasis placed in metals mining as a vehicle for economic development, mining projects should be subjected to a more rigorous environmental impact assessment. The importance of a comprehensive EIA is underscored by the unique vulnerability of a resource-rich country that is environmentally fragile. Albeit mining activities were halted, this is just a temporary restraint to mining on the island. For Alianza Tigil Mina, this is a victory of the struggle of Cebuyanos and their deep commitment to protect their natural resources. But the fight is not yet over. The DANR only suspended causeway construction and ore transport permit, but the exploration permit and MPSA are still valid and in effect. This concludes my discussion on mining in Sibuyan Island. References are cited in this last slide. Thank you for giving time to listen, and I hope that together with the Sibuyanos, we continue to monitor and remain vigilant, not only regarding mining, but with other activities deemed detrimental to the environment.